Hey guys, Jessica here. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Instagram versus reality subreddit. For those who don't know, it's a subreddit where people post professional photos, we got nice lighting, good angles, professional retouching, and then they post a photo of a behind the scenes or an unretouched version of the same photo to show you that it's really not what you think it is. A lot of it is, again, retouching, professional editing. I find it super interesting as a professional photographer and image editor. I've been using programs like Photoshop since I was 12 years old, so I have a lot of experience in that program. I work with professional models. I do my own retouching, skin editing. I've done photo manipulation. I'm a graphic designer. So I wanted to go over some photos and tell you guys what I think, like how I think it was edited, lighting, angles, all that stuff. Before we get into it, everything that I say is speculation, my own personal opinion. It's not fact. I'm not saying with 100% certainty that someone edited their photo in a certain way. I'm just guessing. Can we say that? I'm just guessing. So with that being said, let's get started with the first picture, shall we? Let's dive right in. We're detectives today. I always say Professor Layton, I want to be detective. This is that video for me. You also may be wondering why in these videos I'm using a lot of pictures of the Kardashians. They're public figures and they're very prevalent on social media. Also, low-key, I got in trouble for using my own picture in a video. But that's a story for another time. Yeah. It'd be like that sometimes. I'm not trying to get sued, so I'm just trying to be cautious about what pictures I use. I feel like this whole video is just going to be Kylie Jenner. You guys, who is the photographer for this photo? Can I intern for you? Can I hold your reflector? Can I bring you coffee in the morning? Fantastic photo. Absolutely gorgeous light. But I'm just going to say it, you guys. This is completely retouched. You guys, look at her eyeballs. Look at how clean her eyeballs are. My room isn't even this clean. Do you guys see this bright area right here? Somebody went into Photoshop, allegedly, maybe they went into Photoshop, took a brush, and then went around this area and set the brush to soft light or overlay at about 20% opacity. This is how much I'm a loser. Like, you guys think I leave my computer? I don't. I'm here 24/7. But no, I'm pretty sure, I would say, I guess, that's what happened here. And then the eyeball was cleaned up. You don't see any of those veins in her eye, which would have been noticed. Even like one vein. Is there one vein here? Also, under eye area is completely gone. You would have at least seen some sort of, even a shadow of the under eye area. You don't see that. It looks very natural, great, beautiful retouching. I think whoever shot and edited this did an amazing job. So clean. Definitely used dodge and burn retouching for this one. Did they maybe plump up her lips using the liquify tool? They might have. I can't say for sure. I wasn't there. They're introducing this dewy element to the photo. So when you're retouching, you want to keep that intact. So if you look here, this texture is clearly different from the rest of the texture on her body. I would say like this area right here looks a little sus to me. They probably retouched around this and just kept this unretouched, that water, like the highlight and the water. They wanted the water to show up on the highlight, so they kept this unretouched. So you can see the rest of her body is definitely maybe 100%. I would say it's retouched, most definitely. Look at her neck. There's no lines, no wrinkles, no creases there. And let's even go onto her arms. I mean, you don't see anything. Oh, and look at this area right here. You guys see this right here? Her armpit was even retouched out. It looks a little bit blurry to me. Those armpits are the worst to retouch. Like, count me out of that. Don't invite me to that. I don't want to do it. Just keep your arm down for the entire photo shoot. Wear a t-shirt. Can you wear a long sleeve for the next photo shoot? Thank you. The stomach as well. Even her fingers are retouched. Yes, that is retouched. They're very soft. See that line right there? That's like a faded line from the retouching. But you don't see any sort of, look at that vein right here. It's barely making it in this picture. The vein is trying to be in the picture, but it got retouched out. It tried. Her hand was trying to make like an appearance, but it didn't happen. Look at my hand for reference. Okay? Look at my crusty hand for reference. Look at that. And then look at Kylie. Look at Kylie's hand after that. Look at my thumb. Come on now. Come on. I mean, whoever retouched this really did a great job because they kept in the elements of the misty, like shiny look that she was going for in this photo shoot right here, all the highlights, really. Right here a little bit, right there. So really, let me bring you coffee. I'm just joking. And then we have a photo like this one. Clearly retouched the under eye area. You gotta think, will the Jenners and Kardashians release an unretouched version of themselves out to the public? No, millions of people are watching their stuff, are looking at their photos. So there's going to be retouching to some degree. I mean, look at her eyeball in this photo. It looks like it was maybe taken on an iPhone. Even this one is the eyeball. Just look at the eyeball. Is it too crystal clear? That's when you know. Here's another photo of Kylie Jenner. Someone made a comment saying that the ball is no longer round due to editing. It's looking a little oval to me. It could very well be due to retouching, a little bit of warping. From what I could see, the hardest thing for me is to look at a photo and say, oh, she brought her waist in, or she made her lips larger, or her nose smaller. Those are a little bit harder to tell if you don't have a reference photo. A lot of my friends will show me Instagram pictures and ask me, was this retouched? Is her waist really that tinier? And it's hard to tell. It truly is hard to tell. I look more for the skin retouching, the lighting, the angles, things like that. This photo, you can see her hand right here. It's smoothed out. It looks like she maybe took this one into a phone app and then just quickly did a bit of beauty blurring to her arms. You can see right here, it looks like a very quick blur because see this bracelet right here, how it kind of pinches her skin right there? You can tell this area was unretouched, and that's kind of like the reference point where you actually see some texture. You see right there how we have that bit of texture right here, and then it goes straight into being blurry. So that stark contrast is how you can kind of tell this was at least softened up. It looks like the soften tool was used right here, and then maybe right here. Her skin, I can definitely see some softening. You see this little pixel right here? And then this area right here. Her nose doesn't look like it was touched. So just use areas close to objects, or like even right here. You see this strap? What I would say is if you want to see if something's been retouched, like skin retouched, look for, straps, look for sunglasses. Look for things that people wouldn't retouch in a photo. So let's look at this, her top right here, this strap right here. You're not gonna if you get too close to that strap, it's gonna blur it out. You don't want that when you're retouching. You just want to retouch out the skin, right? So that's what we see here. This line next to the strap, we still see the texture. You don't want to get too close. With the bracelet, you can see that she only softened it until the bracelet area. You see that you can still see the texture here. So those kind of areas, again, will not be retouched. So you want to look around that. By zooming in closer, you can see right here a bit of blurriness, probably caused by her over blurring. Like she probably went over her sunglasses by accident, and it caused this little blurred pixel area right here. So yeah, this area should not be there. She was probably retouching really quick, just kind of smoothing out, and then she just went over that line. And it doesn't really show from far away. You can't, when I'm zooming out, you don't really see it. It's only when you zoom real close. Okay, so this would be a pretty good reference photo where I could say, okay, she may have kind of liquefied this area right here, pushed her jaw in a little bit, made her chin smaller. Now we can see This is a pretty fair comparison. So the lighting to the left, you want to zoom in to the eyeball right here, and I can barely see it. I mean, this photo is pretty low quality, but you can see it's a pretty giant light source, which would tell you that it might have been a softbox, could have been a studio light. I mean, or she could have just been in front of a really large window. But for something like this, I would say it was a studio light, a really large softbox. You can see these highlights on her forehead and then her cheek area make it so that I would guess that it was pretty up close to me to have those type of highlights. So just look for things like the highlights. Where are the highlight points? We have one on her nose. We have one right here. Again, forehead, the cheeks, and the chin. We have one on her lips as well. This is going to give you an idea of where is the light source and how large the light source is. Notice how her eyes aren't like crystal clear white. That's what I'm trying to say. And even like you can see a tiny vein, even like one or two veins. So that's why in the other photos, when you can't even see one tiny vein, then you start questioning. Then you get that interrogation table, you get the light, the overhead light, and then you start the questioning. Looking at a photo like this, is it possible that she could have modified her nose? It looks like she could have done that. Again, I don't know for sure, but one thing that I notice is when this usually happens, when people modify their face or make their eyes bigger or nose smaller, things like that, they tend to add more filters and more colors to disguise what they've done, like the modifications that they've made. So you kind of get lost in all the colors and it looks less obvious because we have so many filters on it. Does that make sense? To me, when a photo has a lot of filters, you're kind of trying to take attention away from other things, which again could be making your lips bigger, making your head smaller, your fingers shinier, whatever it is. But I noticed that in the world of editing, just something, not saying that this is what happened here, but just something that I noticed. So this next photo of Khloe, we see in the left photo, skin was completely blurred out here. Now this to me does not look like professional editing. Like the first one of Kylie, definitely professional dodge and burn, high-end retoucher, for sure. This just looks like iPhone app. You're doing something real quick. It's like a beauty filter maybe. That's what it looks like to me. So we're zooming in here. The under eye area is pretty much gone. You don't even see those smile lines near the cheeks. But she's not really smiling that much anyways. Even though she's not smiling, in the photo to the right, you still see even a faint line or even like a shadow where her cheeks are. And then the photo to the left, you don't see that because it's been blurred out. And over here, you see where her lip kind of ends right there. You can see there's a little patch. So again, when someone is blurring their skin out or softening their skin in an app, they're not going to go close to any solid lines. So her lip liner and her lip shape, she probably didn't want to soften it up too much to where she softened up her lip. So she stopped right here. And that's what people do, you know? They don't want to go over any defining lines, I would say, like the nose area. You're not going to soften up this nostril as well because it's going to give it away. So you always kind of soften up until this, maybe like this nostril line right here. So looking out for things like that, you'll be able to spot a retouched photo a bit easier. I'm like forgetting how to speak. Again, no wrinkles or crinkles, not even one crease. We can't even get one crease from this picture. See this photo to the right? Everybody has wrinkles. Do I have to show my neck a fourth time on this video? This area here has been retouched. And when you go to the photo on the right, you can see that texture, the skin texture, which is normal to see. So I would say this is a pretty good comparison photo. Nothing you see is real on social media, you guys. Don't feel bad about yourself. I must mention, photo on the left looks like it was taken in a different type of light. Photo on the right, it looks like direct flash. probably paparazzi photos. Maybe she's on a red carpet or something. This type of light where it's direct is going to show everything. So it's going to show the lines. It looks like pretty intense light. You can even see the shadow here. It looks like it was like an on-camera flash. So by looking at the shadows, like this shadow here, the shadow on this photo looks a bit softer. So I would say like the difference in lighting, I mean, it's not like too much of a difference in my opinion. But obviously it's good to point out the fact that different types of lighting will accentuate different types of lines. So you can easily take a better photo of yourself just by switching up the lighting or moving yourself and taking it at a better spot wherever you are. This next one, I'm sure retinol won't de-age you 30 years. So I'm assuming, and I don't know for sure, that this is an advertisement for some kind of cream or anti-aging product. I've seen this done so many times where they'll use a before picture, something like this, and then they're showing this gradual change, and then this photo is supposed to be the after. Like, oh, if you use our products, your skin will look like this. The issue is that this is extremely misleading because they photoshopped this picture. And let me show you guys. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open up Photoshop. So I'm in Photoshop right now, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to copy this after photo. I'm pasting it back on, and I'm just going to overlay it with the original photo. So here's a before, here's after. Same photo, but it's just been retouched. So let me tell you guys what they did. They brought in her jaw here. Do you guys notice that right here? Brought in her jaw. They got rid of her wrinkles. They just retouched that out. You know, they just kind of freshened up the photo. Same exact picture. I'll put this on 53% opacity. Again, same exact photo. And they'll use this to advertise. Well, but if your product's so good, why do you gotta retouch it and take it into Photoshop? Why? You don't need Photoshop in your product. I'm just curious, do people see things like this and think, oh, okay, wow, it must be effective? Or are they aware that it's clearly retouched? It's the same photo. I just want to show you guys that in Photoshop so you can actually see it overlaid, so we have no doubts. The last photo is of Kim Kardashian. If I zoom in to her eyeball, again, this is going to tell us the catch lights are the plot lines of photo editing, right? They kind of lead us into the story of how the photo was edited. So to me, it looks like there was a giant light source. I mean, it's Kim Kardashian. She probably has a big studio light in her bathroom just because. A giant like beauty light on an entire wall in her bathroom. Who would be surprised? Not me. This area has been retouched. This area is blurry right here. Do you guys notice anything? I'll give you a second. Okay, the nostril area here. You see how it kind of fades out and it's kind of blurry from this area? That's because they took it too far with the skin blurring. They kind of went over the nostril area. Now, when you're looking at nostrils in photos, let's go to the photo to the right. You'll see it's very defined. So you'll always see those lines. When I retouch, I tend not to retouch even close to the nostril area or even like around the bridge of the nose, or even the tip of the nose. Once you start overdoing that, you lose that dimension. You can ruin a whole photo like that. So this photo right here, whoever was retouching kind of accidentally maybe blurred it too far into the nostril, got some of that in there. Again, you would have been able to see more of a defined line, which leads me to believe that it was blurred out. This area right here, blurred out. And when you notice these like patches of pixels, you can tell what was retouched and blurred out and what wasn't. So we're seeing this patch of pixels right here, this patch right here. Notice this, like her lip liner. She's most likely not going to soften up the lip liner because she wants it to be sharp. She spent, I don't know however long applying that. So you're going to notice that around the lip liner area, you'll see there's still original texture. but then here we see some blurriness. You can even see this little patch. You can barely see it. I'm going to zoom in as close as I can. See this area, how it's clean, it's crispy. Look at this area right here. It's blurry. We see a patch of blurriness. Where did this come from? Somebody was going into the photo on a mobile app or however, and then just accidentally went too far. They were retouching and it got some of the tip of her nose. So that's why you see that inconsistency there. That's why I have no friends, because I know this. Okay, I do have friends. Same thing as before, you guys. We have no crinkles on the neck. When you have no neck wrinkles, that's when I start being suspicious. Okay. Well, I always wanted to be a detective, so this is like my little detective work where I go in and I go find pixels and evidence and stuff like that. Taking that way too seriously sometimes. We looked at a lot of photos today, and I hope that this was helpful for you guys and insightful. That's why I make these, because what is obviously retouched to me, like when I'm looking at a picture, it may not be obvious to somebody else. So I hope that me going over these pictures individually, zooming in real close, I hope that brought you some clarity. And the next time that you see a photo that's looking a little bit too perfect, you don't compare yourself to that and you don't feel bad about yourself. Also would love to shout out the Instagram versus reality subreddit. I think what they're doing is amazing. I love the subreddit. And yeah, go follow the subreddit. I'm going to have the link in the description. Check them out. They're awesome.